I am Dr. Sherry for those who may be joining me for the first time, and I'm here and I'm live. All right, let's see. Oh, we got a new member. Welcome, April. Welcome. And I am so excited about our YouTube community. As you can see, I just started building it. And I'm going to start having meetings with just you all real soon. And we're going to talk about something totally different from where I talk about them, from what I talk about on TikTok, what I talk about in the school. I now and then do lives on Facebook. Haven't done anything on Instagram, but I'm going to start bringing those two communities together. But YouTube, we're going to start having our own little powwow. So stay tuned for that and welcome as a member. All right, let's see who's in the house today. Hey, Lady Ash. Hello. She's saying hello to everyone. Hey, Miss Francis. Hola. ¿Cómo está ustedes? I remember that from school. We being gracias. Muy bien gracias. I'm still trying to, get that part together. I did do okay in Spanish though. Hey, Empress Lady Madison, greetings. Girl, I saw on your TikTok where you went to the gym show. Oh my goodness. Do you know I love collecting gems. I love it. So yes, I was checking you out. On that. And hey, Antoinette, hey, how are you? All right, you guys, we're gonna just get into it. So first of all, let's just do some housekeeping things. Let me adjust my screen here. Okay, here we go. Y'all know I'm chilling, just relaxing right now. Just trying to breathe in and breathe out. Last week and this week were crazy. Have y'all felt it? Have you felt what was going on in your own lives last week and this week? Hey, Miss Kimberly, how are you? Were crazy. Oh my goodness. You could just feel, you could just feel what was going on in the atmosphere. It was heavy. It was very, very heavy. And for those that know, okay, for those that follow along, you know that September had, I believe, a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. What does that mean? And remember, I'm always, every time you come on these lives, I'm always going to get y'all hit because you got to understand, as above, so below. You cannot get around this. So if you're scrambling in your life and you don't know why you're waking up feeling this way or why this is happening, or you feel this gut instinct in your stomach, I shouldn't do that or I should do that, you have to understand where that's coming from. And if you don't understand, how are you going to begin to know how to proceed in your life with making the right choices that's best for you? And in order to do that, you have to be tapped in. Hello, April. And once again, welcome to the family, Amplifying Energy. I know that's right. So anyway, for those that don't know, look up solar eclipse, look up lunar eclipse so you can understand what that means. But anytime we have an eclipse season, it's a washing away. Okay, it's a clearing. All right, you guys, this is real. It's real. So let's do this before I get started because I got a whole list of stuff to update you guys on today. Let's go ahead and share this out. Okay, so you know we do that by, you can give a thumbs up to the live. Okay, some of you sometimes put it in the comments. It doesn't do anything when you put it in the comments. I just see it. But if you can put a thumbs up to this live. So if you go to actually what you're watching right now and you'll see a thumbs up. If you'll click that helps push this out a little further. You also can share this to your following on YouTube, okay? Or send it to your family and friends because I'm going to be talking about some good stuff today. All right, so you might want some people that has been hard to talk to. They can't understand. You might want to send this over to them because I'm going to break some stuff down today where they're going to be like, oh my gosh, is that what's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm finally understanding what's happening here. All right, so let's get started. Where shall I begin? Ooh, got so much. Well, let me start here. Let's just do some housekeeping stuff first. Look below. Y'all know y'all can send me some little gifts if you want. Yes, yes, yes. You know what? Let me explain that to you. You see that little cash app? Let me tell you how this works. Y'all know that I take time out every Friday to update you. And what I've learned a long time ago, it's not tithing. And if you know tithing is really dealing with fruits and vegetables. All right. I hate to tell you, but that's what tithing is. Tithing deals with fruits and vegetables. But there's something called sowing a seed. And years ago, I learned that exchange of energies. That when you sow a seed and you sow a seed in good soil, some type of way that seed is multiplied back to you. And I learned that. I learned that. So those that poured into me, those that made me feel better, made me feel good, those that taught me, and I'm not talking about those that charged me for the information. I'm talking about those that really exchanged their energies with me, spent time for me to understand, and I'm enlightened. I can see a difference in my life from how they poured into me, right? So when I learned that concept of blessing that way, and I'm getting to the point, I don't even want to use the word blessed because I learned some stuff about that word and I'm trying to, and I know that we can attach our new definition to it, but just work with me through this because, sometimes you can learn so much that sometimes it can hurt you. So anyway, I digress. But you can, using my definition of blessed, uh, you will see the blessing, you will reap the benefits of it. So I put that down there because if you all want to bless, okay, if you feel like I've sowed into you enough that, go, Dr. Sherry, go get you a Starbucks, coffee. Thank you so much. Just any little thing, but it's the exchange of energies, and watch how it comes back to you. Okay. So I wanted to talk about that. Don't forget about our website right here, you guys. I updated it with some great information that dropped this week. I'll go through that in just a second. And you can even start sponsoring this live. So if you have a business that you want to promote, if you have information you want to promote, if you'll send that to info@newstatusnewlife.com, so you can go right there to that website and send us a message. If you want to sponsor a live, I will put your information right there. And so therefore you can get some notoriety about what you're trying to do. All right. All right. So that's the upkeeping right now. TikTok live went down on Tuesday. We're doing something different over there. We have a new format. I'm loving it. Now, I believe you can go back and look at my previous lives. If you can, you need to head over there because these last 2 weeks have been off the chain. What I'm talking about over there is different from what I'm talking about over here, but I do give announcements about what's going on and what I learned as of that date. So I do give announcements over there. If you don't have a TikTok account, you need to get one. But if you can go back and retrieve the live, then go over to my link bio / I am Dr. Sherry. Let me put that in the chat right quick. Link.bio. And I have a gift over there for those who are following. And why is this important, you guys? Because we're trying to really get an alignment. And what I've learned is that a lot of people just simply don't know what to do. They just don't know. They're willing to do it. They want to get in alignment. They want to get their lives structured, but they just don't know what to do because of the indoctrination that we've been faced with. Okay. And so I'm doing my part in trying to educate and show you the small steps we need to make. All right. And the first thing we're trying to do is really align who you are. We're really trying to align who you are, and you have to be open to this alignment. And so over on that link bio that I just put right there, / I am Dr. Sherry, go down to TikTok live and you're going to see our challenge that we're starting on Monday. Okay. For those that are interested, and go check out that live because on that live, I am breaking it down. And I pray you can go back and look at the old lives. I believe you can. But anyway, I'll keep that up there. Okay, so I talked about that. I talked about the live. Go and watch it. To go over to link bio. /I am Dr. Sherry. That's just as a heads up. Follow me on all social media. Go over to my Facebook. Follow me. Go to Instagram. Follow me. Go to TikTok. Follow me. Subscribe to here. I'm on Twitter too. If you want to follow that, I don't hang out over there too much, but follow me because you never know. I might push that direction. All right. So now let's get some Anna updates on where we are today. Our fiduciary for our American government. All right. So for those that don't know what her state is, her husband James Belcher, who just passed last September 1st, I believe. He was the head of state, and at that time she was Judge Anna. Okay, she's now Justice Anna. She is the fiduciary, which means that she is our trustee. She holds us in trust. Okay, she kind of leads the way for us. She makes the path clear for us. Okay, you got that? You have an understanding of what I'm saying? She makes the path clear for us. And so with Anna being in that position, when her husband passed September 1st, which I think was a Monday, September 2nd, a process server from her county had the nerve to come on her property and serve her with an eviction. I know. Unbelievable. Let me just pause here because I need you guys to really understand where we are right now. You need to understand that these criminals represent corporations that have no heart. So if you sat in my weekly orientation, not my weekly, it used to be weekly, my monthly orientation where I tell you how the Wizard of Oz and the symbolism of the Wizard of Oz, and when it gets to the Tin Man, which represents the tax identification number, which would be the EIN or the SSN number. When I explained to you that Tin Man represented corporations because the Tin Man wanted a heart, right? The Tin Man needed a heart. And so when the Tin Man needed that heart, because corporations, they don't have a heart. They don't feel emotions. They don't care. They are shallow. And so what you have is these little robots that represent these corporations that are dead. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand put a heart. Put an emoji heart in the chat. Well, some of y'all might be on a computer. You can't find your hearts. If you put a heart or a thumbs up in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Okay? Because I need you to get that point. We got so much to cover today, but I need to make sure you get that point. All right? So you have these shallow imps that represent these corporations, okay? Not knowing what they're doing, not knowing who you are. Remember, I always say you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. So they served her the day after her husband passed. Now, why is this eviction? Why is it an eviction? So let's talk about this. It was an eviction because years ago, okay, and we're talking about years ago when there was hardly no one doing this. In fact, this is during the time where Ron Gibson, the only person that was doing these land patents were Anna, Ryan Gibson were the ones that were truly on the scene. I'm talking about nationally, okay? We know Ryan Gibson has also passed, I think, within the last month. So years ago, Anna and her husband, her husband did a land patent on their home. Okay. And so you all know I do that class, and that class is coming up again. All right. I'm not doing individuals anymore. This summer, I work with individuals where you have one-on-one attention. I have a class that's coming back up. So stay tuned for that. So it'll be posted at newlife.com. You can get the link over to the Land and Soil Property Group website from there. Okay. So anyway, they did the process for the land patent. Okay. So when these criminals came onto their property, they came on the property that included the land patent, of which they have a right to defend. Okay, let's be clear. Let me also state this to you all to have an understanding that only natural men and women can own land. You have to get that. Only natural men and natural women can own land. That's it. No one else. Corporate entities can't own land. So that's very important for you to understand. All right. So by them being status corrected, they were in a position to be able to own their land. Okay. They could own their land, of which they did. All right. So let's move on a little further. All right. So this was September 2nd. To say this lightly, Anna was pissed. I don't know any other way to put this, but she was pissed, okay? And she realized that enough was enough. So what she did was she showed up at court. Let me go back. I skipped the part, and then I'm gonna come back forward again. When they did the land patent on their property, the county, the municipal government, and for those that don't understand that, we'll go through that in a second, but the municipal government, which is the county or the city or the borough or the parish municipal government that you live in, okay, they proceeded with foreclosure because they don't pay property taxes. So they continue with the foreclosure of the property, and a company bought the title. Now, if you don't understand anything that I'm saying, you're going to have to get into school or get in a class. You're going to have to do something, because what I'm saying is crucial for each and every one of your families. Okay? If you don't understand this over your head, I implore you to get into our school. Okay? So you can start learning. So anyway, a corporation, I think the name of the corporation was Specific. There was a foreclosure sale because they did not pay taxes. So they went the real estate route of doing a foreclosure on the title. Because remember, corporations can't own land. So real estate is just papers. You're just buying paper. I keep telling y'all that. It's not land, it's paper. So they bought the paper with the title, and they didn't do anything. They sat on it because I believe even back then they were a little nervous. So now they wait until her husband passes away, and they state they want to evict her because they feel as though they're owner of the paper, so they can evict the paper. Well, Anna was ready. She was ready. And she went and defended. There were calls that went out nationally from the governor to they don't have sheriffs, they have troopers in Alaska. I mean, it was so many calls going forth by hundreds, thousands of people, flooding these people, emails, flooding their answer machines, letting them know that if they made a move, it was going to be on and popping. All right. So just to make a long story short, Anna is still at her home. She is still doing what she needs to do. In addition to that, she started her own channel. Now, if you're in a school, I actually gave you links to her channel. You need to go listen to her channel, and you need to make sure that you are listening to those many lessons that she's doing, which are absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so that's an update on that on Anna, what's going on right now. So if you know, this week she actually signed the proclamation, which was huge. And if you notice in the proclamation, she even put the global bank. All right, did y'all see that? For those, put a one in the chat if you actually read the proclamation. I just want to see for myself. Don't you tell no tales. Put a one in the chat if you actually read the proclamation. Hold a second. Hey, hon, I'm live right now on YouTube. I'm going to call you right back, okay? Okay. All right. That was one of my babies. All right, so we got some ones coming. Come on, Kelly, who is a member on YouTube. Hey, Kelly. All right, and Madison. Martina, hey, Empress, Lady Madison, Harrison. Okay, so y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. So look at Donna G. I'm telling you, y'all be on point. I'm so proud of you guys. Yes, Kimberly. All right. So we have those that actually read that proclamation. If you read the proclamation, you saw that she put the global bank in there, right? And so when she put that global bank in there and all the different names for the global bank, what she was saying is that if you come after them too, we got a problem. Okay? Because that's where the American people, that's where our money is. The real gold backed money. So don't play no games. All right, so let me pivot and go over here for a minute because that's something else I wanted to talk about. I told you I'm checking off as I'm talking about stuff, so I make sure I hit everything I need to talk about today. When I was in high school, I never did understand why we had to learn about the United States government and the American government. What? I was so confused. Now I understand. Okay? Because we had to talk about they have to tell us. You know, that's part of the thing. They have to tell us, right? You know that. I hope everybody that listens to me, you know, it's like part of the law of nature that the criminals have to tell us. Okay. They have to tell us. So when you were learning about the American government and when you were learning about the U.S. government, you were learning two separate histories because it's two separate. One is an entity and one is of the natural man and the natural woman, which is the American government. Now, let me pause right here as well. You all know that there is definitely history prior to this. I say this mostly every live, but I need to keep saying it because I have to make sure you are held accountable for learning the history before that. Because there's definitely history before that. I just hardly never get into it on this channel because I try to pretty much stay current with what's going on so you can live today. But do know there is prehistory, okay, before even the American government came about. So anyway, where we are today, there's an American government, there's a U.S. government. What happens is that the U.S. government tries to mix it up. So they try to confuse you. So when the U.S. government representatives, president, vice president, Congress, all these different people who run for officers in their county, their cities, their what have you, their states, that's U.S. government. Okay? But sometimes they try to say it's America. It is not America. Y'all aren't making America great again. None of you. So let's be clear. I don't care if you the red side or the blue side. All y'all are one. And we know all y'all are one. You're not making it great again, okay? I don't care which one you're allowing to lead these 4 years. I don't care if it's the red side or the blue side. All y'all work together. Now, that's their side. And then there's true American. So when you correct your status, only thing we're doing is we're moving you back out of their umbrella as a U.S. citizen to an American. That's it. So me, I was born in Pennsylvania. I'm a Pennsylvanian. That's all I did. I went back to where I was when I was born. That's it. Not going to deal too long with that because y'all know I go through this every week. So by now, if you listen to me, you should know that part. But I wanted to hit that. You have to have that understanding. So when you're listening to news reports or you're reading something and they start talking about America and you got to start to remember and understand, wait a minute, that wasn't America. America didn't have anything to do with 9/11. That was U.S. Okay? Let's be very clear. So you have to know the difference. No, you're not American if you're not status corrected. You are U.S. So let's make sure everybody understands. All right, so now okay, so I've given updates. I haven't forgotten. I'm gonna give you bank updates in a minute. So let me scratch that out. Pretty much have given you updates about what's going on with Anna. Let's talk about this. Where do I go? Okay, these next parts are very heavy. Okay, I don't know which one to hit first. Let's hit here. All right. Give me 1 second. I wanted to show y'all this because Anna actually mentioned this on her channel. And I'll say, you know what? I said, let me go through this on my channel too, because I want to make sure you all are getting a double dose. Because when I was a public school teacher, one thing I learned is I always would repeat information that I wanted my students to learn. And research shows that if a person hears something 10 times, right? Not a person. Person means corporate. You see how we're so indoctrinated? If a natural man or natural woman hears something 10 times, it sticks. So I wanted to show you this because this is my authenticated birth certificate. And I don't know, can you see how it's embossed there? Let me see if I bring, yeah, there you go. You see how it's embossed there? You see the wet ink signature there? You see it says United States of America. And then at the top here is an actual number. It's a bond number. You see how the Department of State is all caps, right? All right. And so you have to understand this jurisdiction and this jurisdiction are two separate jurisdictions. But I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people always talk about getting your birth certificate authenticated, but not knowing what that means. So I'm going to start talking about some of it here, and then we're going to continue the conversation over in the school. All right, I'm going to go a little further. So here's the birth certificate of my, the entity that stole my, the entity, the corporation that stole my identity. Okay, here's their certificate of birth. And this entity was born, when was this entity born? This entity was born May 2nd, 1968. Remember, the file date is the actual birth date of the British territorial entity. So, yeah, she was born May 2nd, 1968. So when you get your birth certificate authenticated, you first have to have your actual birth certificate. You can't have a copy. It has to be the actual one. As you can see, it's on bond paper. See the little number on the back? You know, this bond paper means that this is money. This is actual money. All right. So the first thing I had to do is I had to go to Harrisburg and I had to get my birth certificate authenticated at the state level. So it says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Department of State. You see how all that's capitalized? Office of the Secretary of the Commonwealth, all that's capitalized. You see the gold seal on it. This was done at the Secretary of State. So I had to go to Harrisburg and get this part done. Now, some states it's going to be called either, it might be called an apostille. Okay, so you got to see what your state do. So either you're going to get it apostilled or you're going to get it authenticated. All right. Okay, so again, the first step is for you to go to your state office. Now let's talk about this. Check with your state office before you go, because there's a cost for this. Sometimes they don't accept credit cards. Sometimes they will only accept cash. Sometimes they don't accept cash and they will only accept credit card or checks. You need to understand what their form of payment is. That's so important before you go. When you go, they're going to talk about something called the Hague Convention. All right. Natural men and natural women, we are not a part of the Hague Convention. Hague Convention are corporate entities. So let's talk about that for a brief minute. In the U.S. umbrella, they own all of those corporate entities around the world. So China is under their thing. Japan is under. I'm not talking about the land. I'm talking about the same setup that they have there. It's all around the world. Mexico, all of them have it. Canada, all of them have. They're under the U.S. because the U.S. is the originator. All right. So it's just like, it works like this. Say, for instance, you have Burger King, okay, international. And then you have Burger King up the street from your house. The Burger King up the street to your house is connected to the parent organization of Burger King International. Understand that? All right, so make sure you get that part. So it's the same thing. Even though we're talking about China, Japan, Canada, all of them feed under the parent, which is U.S. That is important for y'all to understand because they've meshed us up to thinking territorial as far as land is concerned, and that has nothing to do with this. What it has to do with is corporate entities. Okay, and who's the parent corporate entity. So let me go back again. So now corporate entities are in the Hague Convention. You, to be authenticated, need to select a non-Hague country. All right, and they're going to, sometimes they'll have a list, sometimes you need to check, sometimes the list changes. So you have to understand what is the recent countries that are not a part of the Hague Convention. So you select a non-Hague. They're going to make you take an oath. You're going to fill out a document. You're going to put your non-Hague, because what it's saying is that we are not a part of this corporate buffoonery. Do y'all know there's some countries right now that are not a part of this mess? Do you all know they are living peacefully and happily? You got to know this, okay? All right. And so let me see. I need to talk. Let me see. Harrison said it's a franchise. Yes, it is a franchise. All right. So okay. Now going back to what I did, went to my state. The state capital, which in Pennsylvania was Harrisburg. They had an office to, either it's going to be an office of apostille or an office of authentication. You just got to figure out which one your state does. They mean pretty much the same thing. It might be slight differences, but for the most part, it's under the same umbrella. All right. So you're going to go through, select the non-Hague convention that you're going to be a part of. They're going to give you this document. This is another thing, you guys. You got to protect the documents. You have to protect them. If the documents mess up, it voids this whole process. So don't forget, had my authenticated birth certificate. I went to Harrisburg to get my seal on the state level. Then I had to mail this off. They used to allow you to go into the office. So I went with my my boyfriend, and we actually went in and went to Washington, D.C. so we both could do this, okay, on site. And at that point, they don't allow you to walk into D.C. anymore to do it. So you have to mail this, and there's a form to mail it. If you're in the school, if you're in private life, it's already, all that information is right. Is it in private life? I think it's not even in private life. It might be in private life. Yeah, because I think I put it in private life because, I mean, it's a process, okay, that you need to do. So then they're going to send it back, you're going to have to send them a stamped address envelope, okay, stamped address envelope. Make sure you stamp the address envelope. They're going to send it back. And when they send it back, it's going to be put together like this. So this is done on this document right here is the federal level. So we did the state level with the seal, right? And then we did the federal level. Now you see how it's put together? You guys, you cannot take this apart. If you take this apart, it's done. Kimberly says, I picked Egypt when I got birth certificate authentication. Okay. And so, so you got to really be careful with this. Now in the school, I'm going to go over this little part down here because they have all of their statutes and codes right here. Okay. I read through some of them, but I'm going to go in depth with some of this. And then we're going to talk about some of the parts in this and what this means. But just briefly, when they say authenticated or apostille birth certificate, you guys, only thing they did was they authenticated the fraud. They said the fraud is real. That's pretty much what it is. And so you're trying to understand, where would I use this? Why would I use it? Let's deal with that next week because I don't want this live to be too long. But we'll continue that conversation. But we did enough today so you can see it is something that you need to do. So there are several things that you need to do. One, you need to get status corrected. One, you need a trust. I keep telling you guys, you need a trust. Come off of that SSN number. come off of the SSN number. You need a vessel, okay, that you can do business in the U.S. Because right now, true enough, they have a lot of things locked down where you can't even get the things that you need to get unless you're tapped in. But the natural woman, the natural man, you don't want your natural living person. See how I'm so tired? I try real hard not to say this. Your natural being to be tapped in with that. So you create a trust that you send over there to do everything you needed to do, and then you tell it when to come back. Understanding that is very important. So we do trust, so you can do your own, but you need to get one. Okay? You need to get one. Where do I record this trust? You just need to get it notarized. You just need to get the trust notarized, and you can record it at the global bank if you want to. It's up to you. Okay? But trusts don't need to be recorded. That's something that's private. If you just want to record the front page of it, that you can do that, but it doesn't need to be recorded because it's private. Okay, it's private, and really no one should know. Now, when you go to the bank, you will have to take the entire trust, but even they are not supposed to see the components of the trust. Only thing the bank is going to ask for, I believe, is the signature page, the first page, and I think the page that shows your successors. Okay, so that's so important. That's so important that you begin to understand. All right, but everybody needs a trust. All right, so you need, again, status correction, paperwork done. You need to get your trust. You need to get your global bank account. If you are on here and you're watching me every week and you still don't have a global bank account, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you realize that every month that passes, you're not getting real gold back money? Okay, listen, we are past that. If you watch me every week and you're not even status corrected and you don't have a global bank account, I don't know what you're doing. You should have your foot on the pedal, getting that done like last week. Okay, I can't stress it enough. I cannot stress it enough. All right, so understanding who you are gives the separation on why you need the trust. All right. And who you put in as your trustee who handles all of your business. And some people say, well, can I put myself in as the trust? You can, because your trust should not be your name. All right, we're going to deal with that another time because, again, this is dipping in information that I don't have time today to kind of go through all of this, but this is stuff that we talk about in the school. All right. So open a trust. Okay, birth certificate authentication. I already went through that process. You need to get it done. That is money, you guys. That is money, and that makes you have control of the entity. Okay, the identity theft that took place. So you need to get all that done. All right. Let's talk about the world stage for a minute. What went on the world stage? This was serious, you guys. There was a Senate hearing about 2 weeks ago that took place. And do you all know, I'm just going to give you a couple statistics now. And this is after the thing was done, the jabs. Okay. So as of today, 76%, and they're saying Americans, but remember, this is this mess again. So it's Americans that got the thing plus the U.S. ones. Okay. 76% of those that received it have one or more current conditions. I know this to be true because I look at my home. I didn't get it. So let's be very clear. I didn't get it. My children were old enough. They could make the decision to get it if they didn't want to, but they knew where I stood. Okay. They knew where I stood. And, I'm not going to come on here and put public information out of my family who decided to, who didn't decide to, because that's an individual decision. I'm going to put on here what I did. And I knew damn well it was not happening. And not just because of that, I don't put anything foreign in my body, nothing. And that's not anything that had just started for me. This is something that I have always been like this, even in my teens and 20s. I've been always shielded about what I put in my body. Okay. Now, does that mean I eat Burger King from time to time? Yes, I will. I don't want you to think I'm that rigid. It's not like that. But I'm talking about like shots and things. I only did what was mandated to do. And now that I'm older and I have an understanding of who I am, I didn't know at the time I could even control that narrative with a few documents, and I would have. Okay. But as of right now, one or more current conditions are in 76% of those who received it. Now, this is the statistic that is so shocking, so startling, and so hurtful. When it comes to our children, do you all know 50%? Do you hear these numbers? 50% of children have one or more conditions. So we're talking asthma, eczema, ADHD. Do you all know back in the 70s, HDAD wasn't even heard of? And some people say, well, they didn't identify it at the time. No, it wasn't nothing about being identified. It didn't exist. It didn't exist. Okay? So you're talking about autism, all of this stuff. 3 million children have been labeled with autism. Okay? So for the children that receive the thing, this is what's going on. I want y'all to sit down on this, because when I heard this, I had to like pause it for a minute, because my heart literally started, it started palpitating. I think that's the word. Is that the word, palpitating? Palpitating? Well, y'all know what I'm talking about. I think it's palpitating. But if it's not, just put it in the chat. Give me the right word. Give me what the right word is. But let me just say it like this. I was very alarmed and I was very hurt. Okay. 24% of babies that received it passed away between 0 to 2 days. Do you know that's 1 out of every 4? So if you take the children in your family and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, one of them within 0 to 2 days. That's sad. That's sad. Now they have all kind of research that's coming out. They have, everything is starting to come out now. So why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this, you guys, because you got to get to the point you understand all of this ties together. It all ties together. Oh, here's the word. Let me see. Palpitation. I think I said it right. Palpitation. Okay. But you have to understand all of this ties together. As above, so below. That ties into your health. That ties into your money. That ties into status correction. That ties into global bank. If you're looking at understanding who you are, understand your history, that ties into the difference between U.S. American. All of it ties in together. If you're looking at this as separations and each thing in its own lane, you're wrong. You're wrong. You have to understand all of it. What I did on TikTok, alignment, all of this ties together. So I am telling you, get your house in order. Get your house in order, because it's coming now. All the information is coming. This is very true. My son now have diabetes after getting it. See? And I'm telling you, it's real. It's real. Okay. All right. Last thing. And let me give you the bank update. All right. So this week we had a big drop in information. So if you're in a school, I put a whole article in there that dropped this week on the St. Germain Trust. If you are following Anna, or if you heard some of the things that the talks, discussions that she has done, she was in a big fight in trying to get the funds from the St. Germain Trust, which is a huge trust. Now, let me pause right here. The St. Germain Trust is something extra. Our bank is already funded. So they've already collapsed some of the funds and we've already received it. We talked about that. So if you go back to our lives in the private life, I don't know which one it was. We're over 50 now. Y'all know we had our big celebration about having our 50th one. But in one of those lives, we talked about when they collapsed some of the trusts that actually funded our global bank. This is another one. And so it brings us to the point of you understanding you're going to have so much credit. You're going to have so much American Federation dollars that it's going to be enough to fund generations that follow you. You hear what I'm saying? It's going to be so much that you're going to be able to fund communities. So your question is, well, when is it happening? What is going on? Remember, I talked to y'all last week about being in a rush. That if you're still impatient and you're still in that space of I need it now, you're not where you need to be. That when you get in alignment, and I'm telling you this works. I'm telling you this is so real. I am telling you it is. I'm telling you it separates the tare from the wheat. When you know who you are and when you're really tapped in, okay, and you really understand how this life thing works, whatever you need, it's going to be supplied. It's not precedent on this bank opening or not. If you need a car tomorrow and you begin to put in the universe and your alignment is on what you need and you're doing what you need to do, the car will come. And until the car comes, you will get everywhere you need to get. A way will be made. You better hear what I'm telling you. All of your needs will be met. And I got to get you guys to this point because I don't want you lean. It's dangerous to lean on the need of this money coming. Okay? It's dangerous because your mind is not in the right space. You can't, because you're going to be anxious. Anxious is not the right emotion. Okay? Next step for me is learning debt discharge so I can get my life in. Learn it. It's out there. We got a whole section in our school. And if you don't want to if you get the debt discharge course, everything is right there. That means you just 1, 2, 3. This is what you do here. It's several step by step. It's done for you. That's if you just write. You don't feel like reading. You don't feel like studying. If you don't feel like reading, you don't feel like studying. You want it all mapped out for you. Get the debt discharge, but you're gonna pay for it. All right. If you don't want to go that route, go over to our library. It's several pieces of information there. Or do the Bill University. We have our last Bill University coming up this Sunday. Very small fee to get in there, like $15. Remember, I told you, because we have to do an exchange of energy. And if you don't understand that, you have to, because I don't want you all to move in the space of being a leech. It's not nice. You have to learn how to give. You have to learn the understanding of when someone's pouring into you and how you sow back. If you don't sow back, it is like you are a thief. You're just taking my energy, but you're not giving me anything in return. It's an exchange. And if you don't understand that principle, you're not where you need to be. You have to learn to be not just a giver. Let me tell you where I went wrong. Because I didn't know how to be a receiver. Do you know learning how to receive is just as important as learning how to give? It's the same. I didn't want anybody to give anything to me. And then I had to reevaluate that. And I actually learned this from Dr. Miles Monroe. So if you haven't heard his teachings, I heard him say, when you don't know how to receive, it breeds you into a place of pride. Let me say that again. When you don't know how to receive, it places you in a place of pride. So I had to move to a space to humble myself to say, you know what? I need to be able to receive, because that allows people to pour into me just like I give back to them. It's an exchange of energies. And if I'm like, no, you don't have to give me anything. No, that's fine. If I'm not coming out of the right space doing that, it will put me into a place of pride. And we know pride goes before a what? Put it in chat. Pride goes before what? Put it in chat. Pride goes before what? I'm waiting for this one to come up in chat, because this is important, because you got to be able to identify who you are, and you got to be able to identify where you are in your own life. You have accountability on every level. Oh, Harrison got it. Pride comes before fall. Okay. And so I had to remove myself, even if I did not identify it, I had to remove myself out of that. So for those that even wanted to give today for this live, or you want to start sowing into these lives, it's an exchange of energy. I've taken almost a whole hour out of my life, and I do every week to update you. Do y'all know it takes time to pull all this information together? It takes time to pull all this information together. This is not easy. I have to prepare. I had to go and pull out my authenticated birth certificate. It took me about 30 minutes to find it because I had put it up so well. So it takes time, but I need to teach you all better, especially on my YouTube, to have the exchange of energies because it'll make you feel better. It'll make you feel better, and it will allow us to continue to grow in that space as above, so below. Okay. So for those that gave today, because I do see that we had some people that gave, I thank you so much. I thank you so much because I can see right now that we are having an exchange of energies and it's working. Okay. And I'm sure that you felt the exchange. Okay. So going back to understand, I know she said something about, the debt course. There, it's out there. We have our last Bill University. Can you still get all of the sessions of the Bill University? Yes, you can. It's in the school. And if you're a part of YouTube, I'm going to start bringing out, not all of them, but I'm going to bring some of them over and attach them to some of the memberships. Okay. Now, if you'll see that higher membership, we brought that book club into the school. You all, when I tell you book club is awesome, but we're also going to have a book club on our YouTube here, where we're going to dive deeper into these books because that's where all the secrets are. So when people don't participate in book club, I'm shocked. I'm like, we are covering the secrets. Y'all know judges even use and quote from some of the books that we've covered in court cases. They're reading them because that's what the secrets are. And they're utilizing them for their rulings. You got to be able to know what's going I went out for a minute. I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, I'm back. Okay, that's why we all appreciate you so much. Oh, thank you, Miss Kimberly. And Harrison is giving a thumbs up. All right, let me see. Make sure I got everything that I need to talk about today. Did I talk about the St. Germain Trust? Oh, I think I came off that topic. Let me go back to it. I think I need to massage it a little bit more. So I put an article in there about the St. Germain Trust. I don't know how I got off that topic, but let me come back to it so I can massage it better. And what's happening with it now? They are fighting to get to collapse the St. Germain Trust, which is now moving in motion, which is going to add more over into our bank. When is the bank opening? I don't know. Okay. And I don't care. And that's why I'm trying to move you to the point that whenever it opens, it opens. Are they still out there? By her putting all the bank derivatives under that proclamation, that was another step forward towards it opening. That was huge, you guys, because it brought the protection of everything in that one document. Okay. And it was served because, Anna deals on the international level. She don't deal with this national stuff. The world court. Okay. That's where these proclamations go. Okay. So when you begin to understand how everything operates and how the world operates, you begin to understand how the U.S. is so far down on the totem pole. You got to begin to understand. It's so far down on the totem pole, you guys. That's why when you correct your status is higher than those on the Supreme Court, then the Supreme Court. I mean, you are like up there in status. Okay. You are at the top of the totem pole. You are the head. The judges quote from the fruit all the time, the fruit of the poisonous tree. The book club is the business. Oh, thank you. I know we've had some nice discussions. Harrison was on point almost every book club. And for those that are in the school, It's all of the playbacks are there. They're right there. The books are right there in PDF. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all don't realize how this school is off the darn chain. It is off the chain. Okay. It has anything and everything you need. And you don't even have to pay for the stuff. The stuff there, if you want to pay for it, that just takes you even higher. But even if you didn't want to pay for it, the free stuff is off the chain. Okay. There's so much information. So much information. All right. Next week, you guys, I don't have time to get through this. Next week, when we come back, we're going to do a little session on how to make them stand down. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you some information on how, if you're being faced with debt collectors, getting attorney letters to your home, so on and so forth. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on how to stand down. I hope I don't forget that. And then I'm going to go in a more deep study of the British, the difference between the British territorial entity, and the Roman municipal entity, to give you a thorough understanding. Don't forget to go over and check out Anna's channel, because she's going over that information too. But I'm going to try to break it down even from what she's talking about to make sure you have a thorough understanding of it. And then we're also going to talk, well, I'm going to leave this other stuff for next week. All right, you guys, that's all. I'm tired. I'm tired today. So, and I got a busy day ahead of me. So I'm going to end this now. Don't forget, if you're in the school, we got a busy Sunday coming up. Be on point. Go register for everything we have popping off from 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got something every hour. All right. So Eastern Standard Time, block out that time, because it is about to be off the darn chain in our school. And if you're not a part of the school, there you go. NewStatusNewLife.com. Go on over there and we'll show you how to click right into the school. It's a wonderful experience. But no, if you're in the school, you get information and you get announcements in real time. So when I hear stuff, I put it in the school. All right. So y'all know we had a lot of information popping up this week, a lot. All right. So it is in real time. You have access to me in real time. All right, you guys. You're welcome, Miss Kelly, and thank you for being a part of YouTube. And if you're a part of our YouTube membership, stay put. We got some good stuff about to happen. And I didn't tell you guys, but I have a big announcement coming real soon. We will share that for later. Go over to my Facebook and you will see the announcement that I dropped this week. Go to my page, because they didn't push it out as far as I wanted them to. But you're going to see the reel that I did telling you something has been 7 years in the making. 7 years that I'm about to drop. All right, you guys. Until next time, I love you so much. And thank you again for those who gave to the Cash App and Venmo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're starting to understand how to exchange those energies. Until next time, bye.